Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and I see this question all the time on the internet, and it's basically, would you rather get $1 million today or, for example, some passive income? Now, I'm the type of person, that annoying friend that you ask me a question like, what would you do if it was your mom or your dog? Which one would you save? And I'll be like, okay, pause. What's going on here? I'm that friend. I like to analyze everything and go super deep. So when I saw this question on Twitter, I was like, you know, the answer is obvious, right? But what's the math behind it? And by the way, the answer is obvious in the sense that, yeah, $1 million today is going to be worth a lot more than getting $1,000 per month because overall, there's a massive opportunity cost. But I wanted to arrive at why this is the case. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly why it's the case. On top of that, what would have happened if you took the $1,000 per month, invested it? What would happen if you took the $1 million and invested it? What exactly is gonna happen with this fake scenario? Now, this is not a regular video. It's one of those videos that I have so much fun making, but it's super confusing and boring because it's all about math and numbers, okay? So if you like this stuff, stick around because this is basically, no one asked for this video, okay? But I just like having fun when it comes to numbers, all right? Now, as always, guys, like this video. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified. Now, the very first thing, guys, is that when it comes to this question, what we're really asking is two things, okay? We're talking about opportunity cost, and we're also talking about cash flow. Now, opportunity cost basically means, hey, Tommy, if you're my friend and you want to borrow $1,000 and you want to borrow that money for 10 years, well, as you have that money in your pocket, I don't have it in my pocket and I could have been invested it. So obviously when you're giving back that money 10 years later, that money is going to be worth a lot less because I could have invested that money, all right? That's opportunity cost. It's basically, what is that money costing you? And then cash flow is, hey, how much is this investment providing me as far as actual cash? So if I tell you, hey, yeah, you're gonna give me that money, you're gonna lend it to me, but I'm also gonna give you $100 per month for the next 10 years. Now, is that going to be a good investment is the question. Well, obviously, if you give me, for example, $1,000 for 10 years, I give you, for example, $100 per month, you better take it very quickly because I'm paying you like 120% in interest every year. That's illegal. I should put you in jail. But that's the idea of cash flow. It's how much money you make over the lifetime of the entire deal, and the opportunity cost is what it costs you versus what you could have done with that money today. So those are the real questions. So when you ask me, Tommy, $1 million today or $1,000 per month for an entire lifetime. Now we gotta put an endpoint to the lifetime. So for the sake of simplicity in this video, let's say, for example, this random idiot comes to you and tells you, okay, hey, I have a question for you. I'm gonna give you $1 million in cash today or $1,000 per month for an actual lifetime of 84 years, okay? That's the equation. You might say, Tommy, well, what if I pass away, okay? Well, they'll transfer that money to a person of your choosing no matter what. But overall, the $1,000 is going to last a full 84 years. So the main question is, well, what is the value of that $1,000 over 84 years versus me receiving $1 million today? You see how crazy that is? It sounds pretty simple, but it's not that simple because what we got to do next is basically discount those cash flows. And to discount cash flows, I'll tell you the formula, and then I'll tell you, for example, the easy way to understand it is you want to basically get the sum of all the cash flows for the entire lifetime of this deal, and you want to divide it by 1 plus R, and R in this case is the discount rate. In this case could be, for example, your opportunity cost. Let's say, hey, if I would have invested this money, I would have gotten back, for example, 10%. 10% in percentages is basically like 0.1. So now you have that and you raise it to the power of the amount of years you're not going to have that money for. So in this case, it would look like something like, for example, was $12,000 a year because that's $1,000 per month times 84 years, which is around 1,008,000 divided by 1 plus 0.1%. And then you raise that to 84, okay? That would be the entire discount formula in action. And the number you get is somewhere around $300, okay? Because basically it is a terrible, horrific deal. If the deal was just basically receive $1 million today or 1,008,000 in 84 years, that's obvious. You don't want to do that whatsoever because you know exactly it's a bad deal. But what makes this problem so interesting is basically he's not giving you that option. He's telling you, hey, it's not gonna work like that. I'm actually gonna give you the money every month for 84 years. So now we gotta figure out exactly, well, what is the the actual worth of those cash flows as we calculate them year after year after year after year. Now, I don't know about you guys, okay? I've said a few things in this video that might make you think I'm smart, but I'm not a calculator. So we gotta go into Excel and figure out exactly what these cash flows are actually going to be worth. And what I mean is basically, what is this $1,000 a year actually going to be worth? So when I come over here to Excel, here's what you need to know. Ignore everything, okay? Just ignore everything. What you need to know is this. First, we have the actual $1 million, okay? That's the cost. We could get $1 million today. So we're comparing everything to just $1 million. And then our cash flow is $12,000. Our discount opportunity cost is around 10%, and the time is 84 years. 84 years is a long time. Like, anyone watch this video right now, probably gonna have to pass that money on to somebody else unless you want to live until like you're 120 or so on, okay? So basically, the first year is a simple year because the first year, the discount factor, which is basically at what factor are we discounting this money, is there is no discount here. So overall, we're looking at, hey, you get $12,000, that's 12K, that's fine. But after the second year, you're looking at a discount factor of 0.91%, which basically means, hey, now we're looking at this $12,000 is only worth $10,909. And that's because obviously we could have invested that money at 10%. Now, once we get to the interesting part, is basically by year 10, you would have received $120,000 in cash flow right here, but that money now is only worth $81,000. Now, if we go, basically, you're still down like $918,000 to go, okay? Now, by year, for example, 60, let's say, for example, you're still getting those $12,000, but by this point, you're not really, that money is not really worth anything compared to, for example, that $1 million. So by year 60, you would have received $720,000, but the actual worth is only around $131,000, meaning you're still down $868,000. Now, let's skip all the way to the end because I like to know the end always. By year 84, $12,000 still. Discount factor is in the decimals. You're looking at the $12,000 now by this point is only worth around $4.40. Crazy stuff, okay? And now you received a total of around $1,008,000 right here, but that's only worth $131,000. In total, you're basically down $868,000. So the answer here is pretty obvious. If you take the deal where you get $12,000, which is below what you could get as a return, 10%, right? Because $12,000 is not anywhere near 10% of $1 million, you're going to end up losing a lot of money over a lifetime, over 84 years, around 800 and something odd $1,000. Although you do get $1,000 back, $1 million back in total, it's not worth that much anymore. So the answer to this question is obviously it is a horrific deal. However, there are more parts to this question, and this is where I love diving deeper and deeper and deeper because now we know the answer. But what would actually happen, for example, if you said, what could I do here to make this math actually work in my favor? Well, there's one thing. You negotiate to get, for example, the amount of money you're going to get in passive income to be above or equal to your opportunity cost. What that basically means is if you're saying you can make 10% somewhere else, well, negotiate that that person is paying you at least 10% or more, okay? That way, you kind of break even or make some more money because if we dive back right here into our calculator, which is a long, long calculator, if we switch from 12,000 to 10% of $1 million, which in this case is $100,000, we can see here that basically, hey, in the first 10 years, we're still down $324,000. By year 20, we're still down $63,000. But by year 30, we've actually broken somewhere even. It's actually worth $36,000. So by this point, we're positive. It actually is looking pretty good, okay? Now look at this, 75,000, 90,000, and by the time this whole thing is done, hey, you've netted $100,000. So if it's more than 10% or equal to 10%, it actually works out in some way according to the math, okay? However, let's go deep even further than this, okay? Because there are multiple options here. The first option is, Tommy, what would happen if I took the million and invested it for those 84 years, and I also took out $12,000 adjusted for inflation while I basically lived for those 84 years? Now, common sense is this, guys, okay? Don't confuse it, don't complicate it. What I'm basically saying is this: I'm going to invest $1 million I just got. It's going to make me 10%, but every single year I'm going to take out the equivalent of $12,000 adjusted for inflation, because every single year inflation is going to erode that money. So what does that math look like, and how much money would you actually end up with, and how much money would you take out? Now remember, in this equation that we basically did, well, the answer was after 84 years, you got around like $1,008,000. That's how much you actually got out. However, when you look at the math here, this right here is absolutely ridiculous, okay? When you look at the math over here, guys, okay, check this out. Over here, the numbers are completely different. Let me zoom in all the way so everyone can see. But over here, the numbers are completely different, okay? Because if I have $1 million, I withdraw 12,000, and the total value of that at the present time is 12,000 because inflation hasn't hit yet. Then guess what? I end up with $1,086,000 after the year is over, because again, I'm making around 10%, which is actually pretty good. By year 10, here's the crazy thing: the money has grown to 2.1 million. You're taking out 15,000, which at that point is worth $12,000. And on top of that, you're earning around 214,000, and you have an end balance of 2,300,000. Obviously, it makes sense to invest money. In 10 years, you basically double the money and take out even more money, which is still the equivalent of what $12,000 actually is. But let's skip all the way to the end, because I like the end over here. Well, after 84 years, okay, you've taken out 4.3 million, 4 times more than you got paid in passive income from that other idiot, okay? Because he only gave you $1,008,000. However, this money has grown to $2.2 billion. That's how crazy compound interest is. So obviously, to invest that money over 84 years makes a lot more sense to receiving $12,000 a year. That's the idea. And even if you want to go further and you said, Tommy, well, what if I grabbed the 12K in passive income per year, invested it over 84 years at 10%? Well, after those 84 years, you would have 431 million, which is actually a lot of money, honestly, right? But the idea is you have to continue to invest. But 431 million seems like a lot, but now you compare it to 2.4 billion, okay? Then thirdly, what if you negotiated this guy to actually give you 100K per year, and then you actually invested that? Well, over that, well, actually worth a lot of money. Well, that is actually a lot of money. Well, over that 84 years, that would actually grow into 3.59 billion, because you're actually receiving all that money and you're going ahead and basically investing it and investing it and investing it. And over the course of those 84 years, you'll be receiving a lot more than just $1 million. So overall, you're investing more money, thus you'll have more money in the end. But guys, this video was super unnecessary, but the answer is, when it comes to somebody offering you a deal, and this can be applied a lot of the times to lottery ticket winners, where they ask them, hey, do you want an annuity, or do you want, for example, this money right now, cash, and we'll take the taxes, blah, blah, blah. Do you want it now, okay? The answer is you got to run the numbers, because it's not always as simple as you possibly think it actually is. And that's why I love math, I love numbers, but easily enough, guys, there are calculators out there do this for you. You don't have to do a whole Excel sheet like I did, because I just like this stuff. But overall, if you offer me $1 million or 12K, I'll take the million. If you offer me $1 million or 100K a year in passive income, I'll take the 100K a year, invest that money over that whole lifetime, and then end up with more money than I would just by investing $1 million and leaving it there for 84 years, okay? So it's not that simple, you see. It all depends on how much money can you make elsewhere, and also at what rate are you discounted it at, and how much money you're actually gonna get back in cash flow. So it's interesting, okay? Guys, thanks for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, I wanna say thank you, because like, I know these videos are weird, but I really love making them. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want you to comment down below $1, okay? Just $1. Just one and the dollar symbol, or $1, whatever it is. So this way I know you made it all the way to the end and that you're actually a real person. As always, guys, like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, comment down below, And maybe next time I'll make a video about, would you rather get $1,000,000 today or a penny doubled over 30 days? That's pretty obvious. You get the penny because that's worth 5.3 million. Well, I guess we don't need a video because I already told you the answer. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. Up here is another video. Over here is my face. Subscribe. And as always, long-term team out. Another video is right here. Peace. Or my Instagram is right here. Peace.